Nothing glamorous today. No earrings, no makeup, no nothing. Not even rings. I'm getting ready to go clean the refrigerator, is why. But I had to talk about something real quick. It's a Taco Tuesday topic, but I wanted to talk about it while I could still find my rumpled up notes from when I was out of town. I was writing about this to myself, reminding myself to do a video on this. So this is going to be Taco Tuesday on a Wednesday. I'm Suzanne Titkemeyer. I used to write about fundamentalist religions, evangelicalism, anything that you would call a taco type church. They have totalitarian, uh, authoritative church organizations, and they're not affiliated with any one denomination. So I wrote about this for over 10 years for Pathos, and now I'm talking about it here rather than writing about it. And my arm is bad. Okay, what I'm about to say is my opinions on the subject. Like Renell Smith, I like to say, do your own research. Please feel free to always do that. And don't pick on anybody I'm going to talk about here, even though I'm not talking about anybody in particular today. I'm talking about weaponized piety today. Now, you may not know what weaponized piety is, but weaponized piety is the odd situation you can find yourself in at church or with religious people where they bust out some kind of something to put you down. They weaponize their own personal self-righteousness to put you down. And this is really common in churches. It's particularly common in these types of churches I'm talking about, the high demand religious organizations. A lot of times you will see this when they're doing what I call mountaineering, when they're trying to out holify each other and they're going, the only holing they're doing is a-holing, as we all know. It could be something as simple as, I prayed until midnight last night for everybody in our church. Then the next person who'll be mountaineering says, well, I stayed up till 2 a.m. praying for all of the sinful Catholics in this world to turn to Jesus. And then somebody else overhearing that in their little group might say something like, I stayed up all night praying for the souls of all the babies aborted in the world. And somebody else might say something like, well, I stayed awake 2 whole weeks praying for Islam to accept Jesus. So they're upping the stakes each time and they're making this more and more ridiculous. That's what I call mountaineering. And a lot of times mountaineering is also weaponized piety because the whole purpose is to make you feel like lower than low about yourself and to make the person spewing out this crap feel like they're it. There was a movie that came out, I think in the late 90s, early 2000s, called Saved, that was one of the best depictions of weaponized piety I have ever seen. Saved, if you haven't seen it, is about a girl who is dating a kid. Well, they're all in this big Christian school, this evangelical Christian school. It's about a girl that's dating a figure skater from that school who hasn't figured out that he's homosexual yet. He hasn't figured that out. Well, they end up having sex because she thinks God told her to cure him of that by having sex with him, and she ends up pregnant, which is tragic, but it does happen when people get pregnant the first time they have sex. I've heard of that happening again and again, and for her it was doubly so because of the repressive Christian environment she was in. Not that all Christianity is that way, but this particular movie had a mean girl core group that was expert at weaponized piety. And that girl who was the leader of the Mean Pack was played by Mandy Moore. And she would use prayer in bad circumstances to elevate her own self in the eyes of everybody else, to pretend I'm so righteous, so cool, I totally rule this school type of thing, and saved. And over and over and over again, she did this. And it was ridiculous. It's one of my favorite movies about the evangelical world. Macaulay Culkin plays this girl's younger brother who's in a wheelchair. So I would say it's one to watch if you want to learn about weaponized piety. But we see this a lot. I saw weaponized piety in my own situation that I'm still dealing with here. It's like, why am I missing all my beach towels? And why did you let this happen? Sister, I was trying to bless you. Doing all this evil stuff and then trying to claim that she's trying to bless me is weaponized piety. It's frustrating when you come up against it because there's not a really good defense most of the time. Most of the time, when someone busts out the weaponized piety on me, I will stop and tell them, hey, this is why that is not acceptable, and then just walk away. I don't go any further with it. I don't confront them any further because the whole goal is to make you feel bad. So if you don't accept their words as who you are, how you are, you recognize what the weaponized piety is trying to do to you, you can just stroll off, la 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 la, and just be unaffected by it. And that's really one of the big secrets of dealing with people in these taco churches, these very controlling churches. When they try to put you down in some way, when they use weaponized piety, when they try to get at you in other ways, when they try to say negative things about you behind your back or anything, just don't engage. If you don't engage with them, it just steals their thunder. And it really, really cheeses them off. So recognize that weaponized piety when it happens to you. Call it out for what it is. Smile and walk away. Love you guys. I'll see you for sure on Friday.